So, Misha, if you could introduce yourself, and for those who don't know, what is NetBird?
Hey everyone, my name is Misha. I'm a CEO and co-founder of NetBird. And for those who don't know what NetBird is, it is a WireGuard-based overlay network for remote access and machine connectivity. So it makes it ridiculously simple to connect to internal infrastructure and connect machines together with pretty much zero config. We traverse firewalls, so you don't need to configure your firewall or security groups or whatsoever. It is very, very simple. And on top of that, NetBird adds identity-based access policies. And those identities are tied to your IDP, whether it's Okta, Google, or Entra.
So, the main point of sitting down today is talk about the new agent network feature. Briefly, what does this actually add to the existing NetBird infrastructure?
Yeah. So Maiken and I, and Maiken is the CTO and co-founder of NetBird. We've been working on this feature for quite some time. Lots of code was written, and I'm super excited actually to share the details. But essentially, Agent Network is an extension of the existing platform, and it replaces long-lived API keys of the LLM providers with the network layer access tied to the identity provider groups. So if your agents are accessing models or employees are accessing Claude Code, for instance, they go through the agent network and you don't need to give them a key. So everything is tied to the identity. Instead, you get one private endpoint and configure the policies in NetBird, saying, for instance, engineering can access Claude and maybe marketing can access some other model.
And with that, for teams that are already using AI infrastructure, what's kind of broken about how most of them are handling this today?
Yeah, so the biggest issue reminds me of SSH keys and pretty much SSH key management. And back in the days, people were distributing keys manually, or maybe use some Ansible playbooks, right? And these keys would end up on the server, and then they are there forever. Maybe admin forgets to remove them, and you know what can happen, right? So this key is leaked. The person is already long gone, right? I personally seen it myself, right? I was logging in into the server, into servers, and seeing these keys from that belong to someone who left like 2 years ago. And I think exactly the same problem exists right now with agent keys or API keys to LLMs. And I think it's even crazier because the, um, the number of agents that need to connect to models is just growing in organizations. People are adopting AI more and more. There's a ton of autonomous agents. Keys are created, never revoked, and they can be leaked as well, right? Just like with SSH keys. So, what companies do? They use AI gateways to solve this problem, like to reduce the scope of the key, so they don't give the one key to everyone. They create individual keys. They um, maybe create teams, right? And then still they distribute these keys, and still it's the same problem. Well, with AI gateway, they can also solve some budgeting problems and visibility problems. So it helps, but it's not enough, right? So still you need to have these keys.
All right, and when actually kind of facing this problem, what was the steps? What was the story behind how this solution actually came to be?
Yeah, so it didn't come out of nowhere, and we have a bunch of customers, and they were actually asking us how can we solve this problem, and they mentioned this problem because we do access, right, remote access, and in fact, access to a provider is it's not exactly the same, but it's similar to giving access to internal resource, maybe internal API or something like that.
Mhm.
So And they were asking us about a solution, whether we have something in the platform. And they showed us how they use the AI gateways in particular. And we've seen like thousands of teams, thousands of keys. We saw them that they started building products or some scripts around the gateways to connect their IDP to this gateway, so that they create some kind of a management plane for these keys.
Mhm.
And then one night, I remember one evening, Mike and I were sitting and just looking at each other, and we after a call with one of the prospects, and we thought, wait a minute, we have Proxy, our reverse proxy functionality. Why can't we reuse it for um, to give access to LLMs, to
Mhm.
providers? Because it's a perfect fit, right? So, and this is how we did it, right? So that's the story. We just sat down. We thought, okay, this is what we have to change, and there was not much to change really, because this feature was already there,
Mhm.
and um, we we wrapped it into something that could solve the problem of agentic access.
Yeah. And you mentioned the reverse proxy. I'm curious, how does it actually work with that to provide this functionality?
Yeah, so uh, essentially, when you run NetBird, you get a reverse proxy, right? And you also get an endpoint, a private endpoint that you can only access with NetBird if you run NetBird on your laptop. So right here, you can check it out. You have this endpoint, and once again, it's accessible only when you run NetBird and only when you have access to this endpoint through the policy. So you point your agent to this endpoint, and then if you have access to the model, you can connect and you can use this endpoint. And of course, since it's a reverse proxy, right, all this information, all the requests are going through the proxy, and we can enforce limits, we can add some visibility, we can track cost, and or we can just forward this traffic to a gateway that is already doing the budget control. The thing is that you don't actually need to have a key because we inject it on the go. So, and here you can connect a provider, for instance, Anthropic API. If your engineers use Claude, you just put the upstream URL, API key, and that's the only time you need to use the API key, and you don't have to distribute it. It stays in NetBird. And then you create a policy. So for instance, that policy gives access to developers to OpenAI API, and the same way you can give access to Anthropic API. And if the user is in this group, they have access to Anthropic, and at the same time you can enforce some budget limits or maybe token limits. So that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
And if you remove the user from the group, well, access is gone, and they cannot do anything.
Nice. And you mentioned some of the data and things that can be collected within the actual admin control panel for Agent Network. What can teams actually see in terms of like cost, usage, just the logging and all that?
Yeah. So first of all, you there are two problems that are solved here. So you mentioned correctly, you can see what's going on, right? So you can enforce some limits. You can see who accessed what model, how many tokens were used, how much it cost, right? When it happened, and the second problem is what I mentioned. It's access control. So you
Mhm.
limit people or limit access to certain models and certain resources via identity,
Mhm.
via identity provider. So, and this information you can also see in the log. Like you can see which group from your IDP accessed Claude, for instance,
Mhm.
or maybe OpenAI, and what user or agent did it.
Yeah. So you just mentioned agents. So it's not just people. Agents can hit databases, APIs, and all that kind of stuff too. So does NetBird handle agents differently from actual people connecting, or is it the same kind of flow?
No, it's pretty much the same.
Mhm.
Yeah. So just like a server that you can add to NetBird, you can add an agent, and it gets the machine identity, and you can see and control what they do um, in NetBird. So they can actually get access to private resources, maybe some databases, maybe some CRM systems, internal APIs, but at the same time they can get access to models,
Mhm.
and there is no difference. So you can even mix them, right? You can
Yeah.
mix human in the loop
Mhm.
with agent in the loop, and just autonomous agents.
And when we first started talking about this, a lot of uh, feedback praised that this is open source. Why give it away? And where's the line between this as a kind of free open source product and paid? Like when does the enterprise license come into play?
We've been open source since day one, and we believe that advanced network security should be not a privilege, but it's it's a it's a foundation, and it should be accessible to any company. So therefore, NetBird is open source. You can use it absolutely for free. But there are some convenience features, like, for example, identity provider sync, that are relevant for bigger enterprises. Probably you don't need this when you're a small company. So these are paid features, which
Hmm.
is, and they're coming as an extension to the platform, or maybe EDR solutions. And if a company can pay for CrowdStrike, for instance, we integrate with CrowdStrike, by the way, um, to allow only IT managed devices into the network. So then, why can't they pay for NetBird? So that's a logic. Core functionality, core security functionality is open source, and you get a really decent set of functionality. But if you are bigger, you probably want some convenience features that you'll pay for.
And this includes like the actual agent network and all that. So all that still falls under the same open source license.
Yeah, open source agent network
Mm-hmm.
is pretty much a part of the platform,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we, uh, however, created like a stripped down of version of NetBird that just showcases agent network, and this is for those that are just coming for the LLM access and agentic access use case, so that they are not overwhelmed with all the network functionality. And we have quite a few features,
Mm-hmm.
I have to say. Um, and later, they can actually enable the whole platform if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a quick start guide for agent network. It's open source. In fact, it's not even available in the cloud right now, so it's just an open source version
Okay.
that you can really download. Yeah.
All right, so you said that we could test this with a quick start script. I right now I know we're under release candidate. So what's going to be the difference that we see when this release candidate goes into production and is actually released?
Yeah, there will be not much of a difference really. It's a new feature, right? So, and we just don't want to release it straight to production,
Yeah.
and we want people also to test it, give feedback. We'll probably change some APIs, protocols, right? And that's it, right?
Hmm.
We've been using it for a few weeks already
Hmm.
internally, and it's pretty good. So in fact, the code that um, this feature uses is coming from the reverse proxy.
Hmm.
And the most of it was already uh, merged into main, so it's pretty stable. So
Nice. And when it does release, let's say you have a self-hosted instance, a small team, they're already using NetBird, they want to try it out. What's going to be the process for the people who want to just use the agent network, the people who don't want the agent network, and the people who kind of want both in their infrastructure?
yeah, so you have all the options, right? So
Hmm.
you can either just have agent network only,
Hmm.
and that's going to be that stripped version from the quick start. The second option is to just enable it, and it will appear just like reverse proxy in the menu on the left side
Hmm.
in the dashboard. And the third option is not to use it at all.
Hmm.
And there is nothing you have to do, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to do here. So in order to enable the functionality, you'd be just able to set an environmental variable actually just on your dashboard, and then you'll see the the new functionality. So the backend is pretty much universal.
Now, one of the times we first kind of demoed this internally, we were looking at the logs, and somebody mentioned that it would be cool if you can add a leaderboard, so to see what members on your team are using the most tokens. Because we've seen in certain companies and CEOs really push how they want their people to use more and more AI. So is that something that is considered or might be added in the future?
Yeah, definitely, and we are welcoming feedback. And the leaderboard was internal request, but I think there will be quite a few customers that would want to have it too. So we'll do that, and it's cool. I agree. So
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and link down below to all the resources we mentioned, the documentation, the quick start. So you could go ahead, try it out today, maybe give us some feedback, which would be much appreciated. Um, and we'll also link to the demo video that we recently released so you can kind of see everything that we've talked about during this interview. And with that, thank you, Misha, for joining us.
thanks so much. Try it out
Yeah.
and let us know.
All right. You have a beautiful day and good. Bye.